This is a resistor. Also, this is a resistor. I'm going to do a load test on this power supply. I ordered this a while back. It's 200 watts, 22 ohms, 5%. And my power supply is rated 60 volts, 3 amps max. Okay, this resistor is, I was going to say this bad boy, but anyway, this resistor is 200 watts, 22 ohms. So let's just go V squared over R. 60 volts squared divided by 22 ohms. Uh, 164 watts. So yeah, I got a 200 watt 22 ohm resistor to test this power supply at maximum voltage and current. So the current with 60 volts divided by 22 ohms. Current's going to be 2.73 amps, so it's a 60 volt 3 amp power supply, so this will put it practically at its limits. So let's see how it goes. Okay, I got blue and yellow connected here. Also green, which isn't doing much, but I connected it anyway. Let's start at some low values. Oh, let's start at 0. Turn on our output. 0.3 volts. I smell it already. That's a new smell to it. 0.3 volts. 0.001 watts. Okay, let's turn this up. Let's go about a half a volt at a tenth of a volt at a time, or a half a volt at a time. Here's 1 volt. We're in constant voltage mode. 1 volt, pulling 0.034 amps. Okay, let's go over and increase by 1, 2, 3, 4. Whoa, what the heck? Scared me. Why to do that? Let me do this over. We had over voltage set really low here, 3.5 volts. Let's go back to the factory settings. Let's shut this off. Actually, I think you need to turn it off and back on again after it senses an over voltage or over current. Yeah, we go into system, scroll over, factory, don't scroll, yeah, default. Going back to the default settings. So now we're set at 5 volts with over voltage protection at 61 volts and over current at 3.1. So it's at the rated conditions. The over current's just above the rated condition and the over voltage. Let's turn this on. We've got 5 volts, 2 amps setting. Constant volts. 5 volts, pulling 0.219 amps. Let's go over to voltage units and bring it up. We're at 10 volts, half an amp, 4.5 watts. $15 volts, 0.7 amps, 10 watts. going to get a little warm here. 20 volts, 9/10 of an amp, 18 watts. Let me go over to the tens digit. 30 volts. Oops. What? 30. Thought I turned it. 30 volts, 1.4 amps, 41 watts, 42 watts, 40 volts, 73 watts. Cranked it all the way up to 60. We've got 2 amps and 86 watts. So I cranked it up to 60 and we're only getting 43 out of it. 86 watts. I had the amperage set at 2 amps. We need to crank that up to 3 amps. So then we should be able to get the full power out of this thing. Let's see here. Three amps. And 60 volts. Let's start at about 30 volts and then we'll increase it. Maybe I'll get rid of the 0.01. That's 30 volts. Okay. Let's try this now. Here we go. Yeah. 30 volts, 1.3 amps, 41 watts. 40 volts, 50 volts. Aha, now we've got 115 watts. 55 volts, 140 watts. Let's crank it up. Let me stand back or something. Yeah, I'm getting a little afraid. 60 volts. Yep. 60 volts, 2.8 amps, 167 watts. That's looking pretty good. It's rated 60 volts, 3 amps, so the fan is working. It's a little warm. It's way up there. Way up there.